Tojo Podcast this Thursday morning.
Yes, we are back with the Tojo Fitness Podcast, talking about all things health, fitness, body, mind, spirit, whatever.
And today we're talking about our daily vitamin guide for optimum health. Or we might like to title this, What's in Our Pill Pot?
What's in our pill pot? What makes us rattle of a day?
We were looking at our pill pot this morning and we thought this is the optimum time to talk about this. And people often ask us, look, what do you actually take? What vitamins? You go to Holland and Barrett and you're confronted by hundreds and hundreds of different options of vitamins and minerals that you can take.
All telling you that you need them.
Yeah.
Pick me.
It's a selling point. They're trying to sell you stuff. But what do you need? And what's essential? What do you need for just general use? And what things are helpful for specific conditions? So what we thought we'd do is we'll talk about just what you need, what a normal person who works out really hard in the gym or an athlete, sort of low-level athlete, is going to be taking as a base. And there's lots of other things you can add in here. And I'm sure you'll like to comment below and say, oh, I take this or I use that and it's helpful for this and that's great. Please do that. We're just giving you the broad base here of what we do. And I want to do that by starting off talking about why is it so important to take supplemental vitamins and minerals.
Yeah. So when we had our allotment, we used to grow tomato plants. And the reason being is because we made our own pasta. We were very self-sufficient, as an aside. And the reason why we would actually feed those tomato plants is because we would get the very best tomatoes when we actually harvest the crop. So we used to use almost like It
was a sludge. It was horrible stuff.
Oh, it stunk. Seaweed, wasn't it? It was seaweed sludge. And we used to put it around the plants and the tomatoes used to love it. And they used to respond by growing big and fat and red.
And also very healthy and very resistant to disease.
Yeah.
And that's what really turned us on to the importance of vitamins and minerals for health. Because if it's something as simple as a tomato plant, if you put a very, very small amount of concentrated vitamins around it, and the difference it makes to its production, the quality of its fruit, its health, its longevity and so on, how much more is it important for us to have an optimum intake of vitamins and minerals ourselves?
Just saying though, on the tomatoes, it was a natural supplement that was put on there. It wasn't anything that contained any super fasting steroid growing things.
No, it was all organic.
All organic stuff.
So, and those of you who have houseplants will know the difference just getting some baby bio or some plant food, putting a couple of drops of that, literally 2 or 3 drops in a pint of water makes an incredible difference to your plant. And so that's, if that's true of plants, how much more is it true of us? Now, why are they so important? The vitamins and minerals, if you imagine them, they're like the tiny catalysts that enable everything else to work properly. So in and of themselves, you might say they're tiny things. What difference can they make? You know, if you're a bodybuilder, all we think about is protein, but actually without vitamins and minerals, the protein can't work.
Yeah.
If you're an endurance athlete, all you're thinking about is carbohydrates.
Yeah.
But without vitamins and minerals, the carbohydrates cannot be converted into energy. And so there's a number of things they do. The first thing they do is they protect the body from oxidative stress, which is the stress at a cellular level that cells go under through the effects of just living in day-to-day life. Your cells are being damaged, and those damaged cells can often go on to create cancers and other things. So we want to repair them as quick as we can, and vitamins and minerals do that. They protect the body from that.
Also, which is a major thing at the moment, obviously, in the midst of COVID, yes, we are in October 2020. For those who are going to listen back to this podcast in years to come, we are in the middle of a pandemic. And one of the most important things for us that we can do in the middle of a pandemic is keep our immune system working at an optimal level. That means all the good workers within your body are going to be bashing over the head all the bad cells.
That's a really good way of putting it.
It is. It's
I think the other day you said.
Go on.
The other day you said about like road crews going out and repairing the road at night while you sleep. And that's exactly what vitamins and minerals do. They go out and they repair the potholes. Goodness, there's a lot of potholes here.
One of the things as well, keeping an immune system, the immune system is there to actually zone in when the body communicates, I have a foreign cell in my body that should not be here. One of the things with COVID is that is not picked up.
Goes under the radar.
It goes under the radar. So those bad cells that come in the form of COVID, if you have a really good immune system, it should say, oh, something's not quite right. They're not particularly bad cells, but I'm just going to leave them there. If you have a really bad immune system, it'll just say, come on in. I'll lay down. You can give me a back massage.
Yeah. So they protect you.
Yeah.
Another thing is they're essential in energy production. We talked about carbohydrates, and you can take all the carbohydrates you want for energy, but if your body can't turn those into fuel and process it, you're screwed. And vitamins are the tiny catalysts that enable your body to turn the food you eat into usable nutrients. Your body can't use carrots, your body can't use potatoes, your body can't use beef and chicken and eggs. It has to turn it into something else in order to use it. And it's vitamins and minerals that play a key role in turning that basic raw ingredients you're putting into your body into something else, which of course you can understand is really, really important if you're an athlete.
Also, vitamins and minerals are great for actually growth and repair. So we're talking about growth of muscles, growth of bones.
Yep.
So obviously calcium, that's a massive one that comes to mind.
Good example.
Also for repairing the muscles which we tear at the gym too.
Yeah. So you can see, we don't want to get into this too much detail because we know what you actually want is for us to tell you what to take.
Yep.
All we're going to do is tell you what we do. But why don't we get, and this is a really important question, people ask, well, why don't we get enough in normal food? And if you go and speak to many medical professionals, they'll say you don't need to supplement because if you eat a good, well-balanced diet, you'll get everything you need. Yeah. And that's absolutely true for two things: for the average person, and also if you are eating a really good, well-balanced diet, which practically nobody does.
No.
And here's the problem is that we process, almost all of our food is processed. I've read a statistic just this morning, and 70% of the food in the average American diet, so it's probably like 60% here, so we're not far behind them, is processed.
Wow.
Every time you process food, you destroy the vitamins and minerals in it.
Yeah.
So, and processed food, it doesn't mean that you're going to turn it into Frankenstein food. Taking wheat and grinding it into flour is processing. That's a simple way you process things. Yeah. And then you mix it with other things and turn it into bread. Another process has gone on. Every process... The
more you touch the food, the more it loses its vitamins and minerals.
True, just touching food does that.
Yeah.
Cooking food.
Airing it.
Yeah.
Transporting it. So if you look at the amount of fruit and veg that we actually get in from abroad, by the time that's been packaged, crated, transported across the sea, and then popped into our supermarkets, funnily enough, like most of those vitamins have been messed with. Yeah,
they've leached out into the atmosphere. We've lost a lot of them.
Yeah.
Which is why many vegetables are actually more nutrient dense if you buy the frozen version.
True.
Simply because
it locks them in.
Locks it in. Yeah, totally. So that's one reason why we don't get enough in our food. Another thing is because of soil depletion, and this is particularly true of minerals. If you imagine the very first people planting their corn or planting their
Adam
plants,
and Eve?
Well, maybe in virgin soil. That soil is full of nutrients, stacked full of nutrients. And those nutrients end up getting into the food. But over years of over-harvesting the soil, those nutrients start to disappear. Now, what modern farmers do is they will put those nutrients back in an artificial form.
Yeah.
But those nutrients just aren't there in the same capacity as they were in an original virgin soil. So when you eat the food, you're not getting particularly the minerals that you would have done in virgin soil. And so our mineral levels are often very, very low.
Yeah, so the thing is as well, is if you're working out at the gym, or I'm not just going to say the gym, or at home, or if you're doing particularly large amounts of physical activity, you are going to need higher doses of vitamins and minerals just to keep your body ticking over.
Yeah. Hard-working athletes produce free radicals. Here's the conundrum. Free radicals are the enemy. Free radicals are the little raiders that get into your body. They're essentially cells which start degrading.
Yeah. They're
terrorists within your system, and they get in there through all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But one of the ways in which you free radicals create issues is when you work out, your body creates the energy use of your body creates these free radicals. It's a little bit like burning coal. If you burn in coal, you get smoke.
Yeah.
If you steam locomotive looks beautiful coming down the track, but is belching forth all this steam, those are free radicals.
That's a good word, isn't it?
It's belching.
Belching, yeah.
So in your body, as your body digests food and as it burns that food for fuel, it's creating these free radicals. Now, your body needs to mop those up as fast as it's created them. So if you're a hard-working athlete, your body's creating a lot more cancer-creating free radicals than somebody who's not working quite so hard.
It's not an excuse not to do any exercise, though.
No, there's an offset to that. There's more to it than that. But it does mean that by creating free radicals, you do need to supplement more to offset that. And that leads to this final thing about why we don't get enough food, is that why we don't get enough vitamins in our normal food is because of the environmental pollutants, which are themselves free radicals and create free radicals in our body. So environmental pollution itself, once again, the normal person in pre-industrial times was breathing in largely very, very clean air. They didn't start breathing in dirty air, if you like, until they started burning wood for fires, which creates free radicals and so on in your body. So environmental pollutants mean that your body now has to work much, much harder. Ergo, it needs more supplemental vitamins.
Especially
and
now,
minerals.
because like the amount of smog, for example, when we went up to London.
Oh, goodness.
And also, like, Tom's visited China as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
The amount of the thickness of the smog there that's going down into your lungs. Anyway, we're digressing. What's in our pill pot?
Welcome to all those who have gone through our timestamps and have just jumped in at this point because you want to find out not the background of it all.
Tom's really good. I'm just going to put an aside here, right? Tom is really good at history. So what that basically means is every subject he has to give the backstory to. So if you want to jump straight to the pill pot, this is where it starts.
At 13 minutes and 50 seconds. What is in our pill pot? We are not recommending this necessarily for you.
This is just what we take.
We are saying this is what we take. We are not writing you a prescription here, but we think this is great for us, and you know our circumstances and situations. If you like our circumstances and situations, you identify with that and say, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, then you might like to try this sort of regime. That's my disclaimer here.
Number one.
Start with a good multivitamin.
Yes, so we actually go to Holland & Barrett.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do a bit of a shameless plug here on Holland & Barrett. We know where we stand with them. We've been taking multivitamins from Holland & Barrett for a few years. And so we've never, it's not one of those odd products that you actually take off the shelf. No, number one, we have a good Holland & Barrett mega vitamins and mega minerals.
Did you point out that we receive no payment from Holland?
We receive no payment from
just
Holland
to say.
Barrett. Man, there's a lot of politics, isn't there?
So we're talking in Britain. Obviously, you can just walk straight into Holland & Barrett and get this stuff. They do. You need a good multivitamin. Now, not all multivitamins are made equal. Now, if you're just wanting to one pill you can take, boom, you're sorted. Then they do a wonderful thing called Radiance, the Radiance vitamin. It's a small pill. It's a multivitamin and multi-mineral all in one.
Yes.
Small pill. It'll be fine for you.
Here's why I take a small pill, is that I can't swallow pills. Any other girls relate out there, or any other guys relate? I just can't swallow pills. So I take a small.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
If, on the other hand, you can handle a horse pill.
It's huge.
Thank you, darling. Then we recommend Holland & Barrett, the Mega Vitamin. It's called Vita-Min. And that's great. Now, that's like a horse pill. And that has all the vitamins, particularly the vitamins you need, in the doses which are large enough to handle, to be great for an athlete, to be helpful for a hard-working athlete. So it's actually quite a lot of vitamins in there. Great. But what you'll discover is that minerals are different to vitamins. Vitamins you need very, very tiny amounts of, so they can make vitamin pills actually quite small. Minerals, however, you need actually a lot more of. And so if you buy a multivitamin with minerals included in it, often the minerals will be trace. They'll be negligible. So we also get the Holland & Barrett Super Multi-Mineral. Super Multi-Mineral. And they're both in green pots and they work together. They balance each other out quite well. Now that, you can take up to 3 of those a day, spaced out. And they are horse pills as well. Simply because minerals, you need so much more of them to actually get the bang for your buck that you need.
Yeah. So when we say multivitamin and multi-mineral, exactly what it says on the pot. Pretty much all of them.
Everything is in there. And if you go for those two, and I'd recommend as a basic, even before you spend money on protein powder, get a great multivitamin and a great multi-mineral so that the protein your body takes in can actually be used.
Yes, right.
So those. I take 1 of the multivitamins and 2 of the multi-minerals, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening.
And the Radiance one, I just take 1 in the morning.
Yeah. With
breakfast. Next in our vitamin pot, well, it's not actually in our pot. It's a powder that I actually use, which is vitamin C.
Yeah, the reason we use the vitamin C powder is because, once again, they come like horse pills.
I can't swallow them.
And there is a certain amount of research that vitamin C is better taken, ascorbic acid, essentially, vitamin C, taken as powder. So we've explained, obviously, vitamin C before, that it's great for the immune system and body repair, especially at the time in a pandemic, especially if you're working with children, especially if you're going to be in environments with a lot of people. We sometimes up our vitamin C if we have been in the gym, just within the recommended amount anyway, but just to make sure that we are keeping our immune system up and firing. Vitamin C is your go-to vitamin for boosting your immune system. It will mop up those free radicals better than anything else.
And usually, I know people say I have fruit containing vitamin C, etc., etc., but usually it's actually not enough.
No. So the amount that we use. Now, bear in mind, we work out for perhaps 2 hours, up to 2 hours every day. We also train clients. We're in a gym environment where people are breathing and spitting on us, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. So we will take anything up to 5 grams of vitamin C a day. We'll split that up into 3 doses, perhaps half a teaspoon in the morning, half a teaspoon at lunch, half a teaspoon in the evening. Fantastic. It's as cheap as chips. Just buy it online.
Yeah.
You can get it in your shops, but it's easier just to buy it as a powder online. Half a teaspoon, once a day, twice a day.
And it tastes orangey. It's like orange sherbet.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So vitamin C, let's say we would recommend right now in the middle of a pandemic, twice a day, half a teaspoon in the morning, half a teaspoon in the evening, take it with loads of water. Vitamin C. Second thing we're going to be talking about is vitamin B.
It's actually the fourth thing. But,
Fourth thing we're talking about is vitamin B12.
Yes. So quite a few years ago, probably about 8-9 years ago, I started getting really tired. I felt really fatigued. I just couldn't get my brain working. So I went to the doctors and we had a blood test done and I had a B12 deficiency. So what I had to do is I actually had to have injections for B12. But after the doctor had got my levels up to a normal amount, I actually now take vitamin B12 supplements just to make sure that I keep my B12 in that optimal range. And sometimes you can always feel when you're like, oh, I think my B12's a little bit off. But that's something that I don't think I'll ever skip out of my supplement list now.
Yeah, and vitamin B12 is something which is important actually for everybody. We all need this entire B complex. When we talk about the B complex, we're talking about vitamin B3 and B6 and B12 and all the vitamin Bs. So they're all in the multivitamin. Yeah. But vitamin B12, you actually need quite a substantial amount of. So it's, once again, very, very important for energy production. Very important for energy production.
That's why you feel fatigued if you're a bit low. And also, you've got down there that it's for your brain. And that's why you can't, you got brain fog constantly.
Yeah, brain fog, or classic sign of vitamin B12 deficiency is brain fog, because your body needs vitamin B12 to communicate between the brain and the muscle. The brain and the muscle. If there's no B12 in there, or it's actually the whole complex, it can't communicate. You've cut the telephone wire. And so, once again, a while back, I was finding I was a bit brain foggy. I was actually feeling quite depressed.
Yeah.
And going through a time of and it was quite substantial, and that's not very, very unlike me. And I did some research and did some tests and found out that I was, for an average person, my vitamin B12 intake was fine, but because of the balls to the wall way we live our lives and train, my vitamin B12 was low. Up that, so we now take 1 milligram. Yeah. 1 milligram.
And that's a very small pill.
Tiny pill. You sublingual, stick it under your tongue, let it dissolve. Yeah. It's as cheap as chips. This stuff doesn't cost very much. No. 1 milligram, and that not only does it great for energy production for the brain, red blood cells production. So without vitamin B12, anemia. You can end up in that anemic position. We always think about iron with anemia, but you can end up anemic from lack of B12 as well.
True. And lastly, in our little pot, we have little balls of sunshine.
Vitamin D3.
Yeah, or vitamin D.
Generally vitamin D. But you
D.
buy it as D3 generally.
Yeah. So you'll see all the research in the news at the moment, especially during the pandemic, that taking vitamin D3 is really good for the immune system. Well, yeah, we knew that all the way along. I can't say it's specifically going to combat COVID, but it's a good thing to pop into your supplement list.
It's probably, if you want one thing you can go to, which is going to help you more than anything else, one simple fix for COVID, something which will help not only reduce your chance of getting it, but also reduce the severity of it, is to have a sufficient amount of vitamin D3. Now, if you live in a sunny country, you get this all the time. Yeah. You can be outside, half an hour outside with your kit off, you're sorted, you've got your vitamin D3 for the week. Here in the UK, we don't get that. And so most of us are vitamin D3 deficient, particularly, once again, if we're athletes.
And also if you're going through the menopause.
Yeah.
So vitamin D3, here's what it's good for. Mental health.
Now, you can test this out. Don't take our word for any of this. You test all this stuff out and see if it works for you.
Now, why is D3 or D good for your health?
You get outside in the sunshine. Is it not true that you feel better? And you say, oh, it's because of the sunshine. No, it's actually because of the vitamin D3 that's produced in your body when sunlight hits your skin. Nitric oxide also is a byproduct of that, which is fantastic. But the vitamin D3 is produced when your body hits your skin and your body goes, oh, this is just what I need.
Yeah. It's great for sleep.
Having trouble sleeping, vitamin D3 and zinc together are fantastic.
Yep. Immune system.
Boosts that. Great for Alzheimer's. That sort of thing. Helps protect the brain because it's good for mental health. Yeah, you said it boosts the immune system. Very, very, very powerful at boosting the immune system, which is why you don't often get sick in the summer. Yeah. If you go on holiday, if you go on holiday with a cold to somewhere hot, that cold clears up really quick. Have you noticed that? And that's partly because of the vitamin D3 you're getting. It decreases inflammation in your body. Yeah. Inflammation is the largest cause of disease that there is. Just the inflammation of cells calms it all down. Yeah. It's cancer protective as well.
Yeah, it's one of the good things that you I think you can take when you're having like your treatment as well. Yeah. Just as an extra precaution. As well. And the vitamin D, we actually take little balls. They're very, very small little balls, clear balls.
Yeah. And they look like little suns.
They do look like little suns.
So how much? 5,000 IUs. 5,000 IUs. It's complicated using... we can't give it to you in milligrams because it's a bit difficult to explain why, but 5,000 IUs, vitamin D3 is normally... distributed in IUs, international units. Yes. So 5,000 IUs of D3. So that's what's in our pill pots. We also personally supplement with a bit of glucosamine sulfate and turmeric. We're going to talk about those at another time because I think we're running out of time here. But just to say...
time flies when you have fun.
Glucosamine sulfate is great if you're getting past 40 and your joints, you just want a little bit of added protection for your joints. Yeah. Turmeric is brilliant for the immune system at the moment.
Yeah, and inflammation too.
Yeah, particularly during this pandemic time. You might want to look into those two things, but we're going to do some special... podcasts on those. So this is what's in our pill pot. We've got a good multivitamin. We've got a good multi-mineral. Both those things, if they look like horse pills, they're probably going to give you enough bang for your buck. Vitamin C, 2 to 5 grams a day, dependent on how much you're in contact with people, how at risk you are. Vitamin B12, 1 milligram a day, sublingual normally. And vitamin D3, the sunshine, 5,000 IUs, or go on holiday somewhere hot.
Oh, let's do that. Anyway, this has been Tojo Fitness. Please, please, please stay safe during this pandemic. Eat the right things. Take the right supplements. Do the things that's going to make your body rev on all engines.
So that your little tomato plant is looking plump and healthy.
Fantastic. Take care, guys. See you soon.